Oh, hello, everybody. How's it going over there?
It's going good.
Oh, you're probably getting the wind tunnel thing. Hold on, it's because I have the sound from the stream going. You hear that?
That's we're inside a computer, I think. It's my
favorite place.
This is the zone.
Oh man, hi.
Lonnie Zone.
We're here to talk about Cyberpunk. It's Night City Wire. It's gonna hopefully start soon. I'm Vinny Caravella, joined by Jeff Gersman.
Hello, I'm here. About 13 minutes. They're going to show about 25 minutes.
Yeah, Brad Shoemaker.
It's more like Morning City Wire.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty early for you guys.
Get my chems, my stims, and my chems going.
It's
here.
fine.
I've got
how yellow do I look right now?
No, you're looking.
I see it.
I blew up their countdown screen is intensely yellow, and it's like staring at the sun right now.
As someone who is colorblind and doesn't have a good sense of skin tones and colors all humans green for the white people, and for people of color, it's a little bit more back and forth. I see you look perfectly fine.
Okay, I may have to not full screen this. This is really hard to look at.
I just opted to, when I was a kid, make everybody
like a body glove ad.
Everybody blue. It's the color I could see the best.
And then you went on to make Avatar.
Hang on.
It's the fulfillment of my
I've been wrestling with my blueness as I've got this key light here.
There you go. See, now I can see that I can see that you're too blue.
Now I'm as blue as I can get with this thing. Nice. I am 7,000K here. Now I'm as orange here as I can get.
So I haven't seen too much. I feel like you two were the ones that more often than not went to the E3 showings of Cyberpunk.
Yeah, so I thought going into this, maybe this would be last year's E3 demo,
right?
Because that's kind of been their pattern, right? Like Vinny, we saw one 2 years ago. 2, 3. It's hard to count E3s now.
Yeah.
I think it was 2 E3s ago. We saw the first one, and then they put that one out as a video like a year later or close to it.
Right.
Yeah. So we saw a demo that was pretty long. And
not the one with Keanu Reeves. It was the one before that.
Yeah. That I'm trying to distinguish between the two of them. Like what was different between? I don't know. It always looked very good. That's it. That's my take on it. It always looked very good. It always looked like a mix between Deus Ex and future that Blade Runner kind of grind.
So Deus
Ex. Well, Deus Ex has like a kind of cleaner aesthetic. This
is more Blade Runner, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of. It's got like a
a lot more neon lights and like
everybody. Sorry, can I swear on this thing because we're streaming out everywhere here.
It's pretty cyberpunk.
It is before noon,
and also take down or be a part of a corporation. I think.
It's flipping. It's everybody knows what this is. Everybody's watching this right now probably knows what Cyberpunk 2077 is. I think I have enjoyed what I have seen. I am worried about the delivery of the ambition. That's my concern.
Sure. Yeah. I think that's probably where I'm at with it. What's the most cyberpunk thing you've ever done, Vinny?
Boy, let's see. I once had to somebody had an encrypted or a locked out Mac hard drive for work after they had left, and I had to get into that account. So I punched deck and I got in and got in there and did that. I set up a NAS. I went. I use CentOS for a Linux flavor. That's pretty rough, you know.
Yeah,
that's
okay. All right.
Brad,
I make my own cables. That's fun, right? Like
all right, yeah,
like soldering. And
how many of those cables do you attach to your own body?
Oh,
doing a little crimping.
I do some if I had like some kind of little robot friend or something next to me, it would be way more cyberpunk. That was like watching me kind of do the cable. I guess what is cyberpunk? Okay, I've had this conversation with Austin a lot, and I love it because I like his take on it. Of like, where's the punk in the cyberpunk? There's the cyber part, but then if you're not challenging the system, are you cyberpunk? Right.
Right.
If you're not taking it to the system, where's the punk? Right. And I exactly like that take.
Yeah, I think that's that's a key part of the genre, you know, that people tend to forget a lot. Is that the corporations are the enemy. When people talk about like, oh, everything's so cyberpunk now, it's like, Yeah, and a key part of that is
and you're following all these
smashing the
brands,
fucking
right?
system.
Yes,
And-
like not to get too tangential here, but yeah,
Here we
like
go.
get into a conversation about reactionary elements co-opting the aesthetic of cyberpunk without the underlying socio-political message.
Wow,
Sure,
wait, what?
yeah.
That was very cyberpunk. Whatever you just, I like your cyberpunk manifesto, Brad. That's the most cyberpunk thing you've ever done. I like it.
So,
Now I'm gonna go
that's
trash a Taco Bell truck and take the food for people.
That's now top of the list after the time or before the time that I pulled a ROM chip out of a running motherboard and replaced it with another ROM. While it was on. You know, one of those little rectangular ones with the long pins.
Wait, was that for like a BIOS flash?
Yes, it was for a bad BIOS. That
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Jeff. How's your cyberpunking?
I had a red box, so I could steal phone service from payphones.
Okay, that's yeah. That's take
I don't want to
Ma Bell down.
I don't want to
Incriminate yourself.
No, not myself. You.
Okay.
But I was gonna say, like you have been at least adjacent to like phone freaking and stuff like that, right?
I still love that.
Yeah,
Or like new
so
people.
we had an acoustic coupler that you would hook up to a computer. You'd hook up to a modem on a laptop, and basically the acoustic coupler is you see in old movies like war games and stuff like that when they pick up the phone and then set it down on the computer. It was like that, but it was a portable one that had a Velcro strap on it. So you take the phone and you take the coupler and Velcro it together, and then you could do laptop stuff on a payphone, or it's that sort of stuff. Like you're like, or hey, here's a phone cord that we have split apart and put alligator clips on the other end of it.
Attach it to the actual line.
Yeah. Crack open a phone can somewhere and then just put those alligator clips on people's lines, and have like a basically like a lineman's handset or like just a tiny little portable phone we had a tiny little portable phone. It was like a little box like this that had a headset. It was like a headset phone for like customer service people or something like that.
So I'll take a second. Take a second, and I want to say, as a parent, heads up: those phone lines are near high voltage lines, and you want to if you're gonna climb that, do not climb that pole.
So we didn't climb shit.
Okay,
Look at me, I didn't climb a damn thing. This was an apartment complex that had a phone can very low to the ground next to a very large bush.
All right.
You could sit in and then dial into a BBS and then hope that whoever's lines you were clipped onto didn't pick up the phone and realize what was going on. But sometimes you would clip on and someone would be on the phone and you were just like, well, I can yell on this person's phone call and really freak them out. So let's do that. And then
that's why you call it freaking.
Next one. Yeah.
Phone freaking. Captain Crunch whistles.
Yeah, basically, yes. Unfortunately, I can't whistle 2600 hertz. No, that stuff was that stuff was before my time. All the true
analog
2600 hertz, like
the Captain Crunch era.
Yeah, getting to the trunk and people setting up like hacking someone else's PBX or voicemail stuff to either forward calls through or setting up their own party lines and voicemail stuff. Like that stuff was always really fascinating, but I didn't have a driver's license. I wasn't just out enough to make that sort of stuff happen. And so that was something that I always read about and thought was very cool. But
I never had like any weird zines for that stuff. I was the closest I got was those like Commodore 64 basic programming books of how to make your name go on the screen. Oh, does this count as cyberpunk? Going into the Radio Shack and making it say penis
yes,
list.
You smashed and now where's Radio Shack? You did that.
Oh, but I need those transistors. They were so cheap there.
Them down.
Oh man.
Did you ever war dial?
I'm not a criminal. What does that mean?
Okay. That means calling every single, again, that's from like what they did in war games where Matthew Broderick just dialed every single number in his local exchange to see what came back.
No.
Yeah, I once set up my phone. This is before caller ID and all this other stuff. It was a lot safer to be an asshole. I just set up my computer. It was an Amiga, I think, at the time. No, it was a PC. So it was like 93, somewhere around there. And just said just dial every number in this system and tell me which ones are computers. And I definitely got like a few computers back that I then spent some time going like, is there anything for me to do with this? And then realized like, no, I'm an idiot. I don't know how to do anything with this stuff. I'm a moron. Like I can't hack anything. But I had a list of things that were either fax machines or computers.
It's the reason I liked. We still do really like Hacknet. I feel like Hacknet, the game, bridged a. Wow, this is actually really hard. It did the movie version of hacking, where you can just have a little program with an interface that's like, oh, now I'm hacking. Click the button to hack, but mixed it enough with command line prompts. We're about 3 minutes away. I might switch this over to the countdown view so people can watch this with us. We're not caught by surprise. So here we go. Switching over here. All right. About 3 minutes left.
10 seconds.
Yep. Perfect timing. I'm gonna check the. I'm gonna get a slight bed of audio here. Okay. Yeah, you hear that? It's like grating. It's a wind tunnel-ish thing. We got a little bit of that. So we're gonna get started here soon. This is supposed to go about a half hour-ish and show I think a trailer. They said gameplay and some talk with the devs. In what proportion those things are, it's probably a pretty safe bet the trailer would be the smallest. But I don't know if they're gonna talk underneath the gameplay as they're playing. I have no idea what this presentation's gonna be like.
I guess so. I guess it's gonna be new stuff then.
I guess the demo we saw was definitely longer than a half hour. All the demos we saw, and I'm pretty sure those never were public, so it might be some combination. But this game also is probably in the 2 minutes here. We won't be able to get into all of it. Has been delayed, pushed. People have said, is it being delayed for next gen stuff? Is it being delayed to get onto PS5 and Xbox Series X? Is it what's going on here? And some of that has come out and been confirmed. I think right that it is going to launch next gen.
It will run these PS4 and Xbox One versions will run on the new consoles. That's just how it works. But they will not be native PS5 and Xbox Series X versions of the game.
I should have made that very clear. But you'll be able to play these if you have a PS5 and Xbox Series X. You should be able to play these for free on those systems if you buy the game on those previous generation consoles.
Yeah, I believe that's the case. Yeah, it's definitely the case on Xbox that's a free upgrade. I think it is also the case on PS5.
And then, of course, there's a PC version, and I assume, for the sake of this thing, I assume that's what they're going to be showing. Some PC
CD
version.
Projekt's been real good about doing right by people that buy their games, right? In terms of like, here you get this and this and this.
I mean, if you go by GOG standards, which they are pretty DRM free, and they seem to try to navigate that space. I don't know if this ended or not. They were giving away free copies of Witcher 3 on GOG if you owned it on PS4, was my understanding.
Right. Yeah.
They were like
How do you
checking your
validate
PS4
that?
account.
Oh wow,
like
really?
It was like tied into your PS4 or PSN account.
Because they want people to sign up for GOG Galaxy, and that thing ties all the accounts together. So I think if you did all that work, they verified it and threw a copy of The Witcher 3 at you or something. But I think they want to just build up a user base on there.
Oh. Chat says it was any platform that you owned it on, not just PS4.
Wow.
Okay.
All right, we are 30 seconds out here. Again, I don't know if this is going to be a live video or them pressing play on a tape, which I assume it might be if they know the runtime of it. So we will see in a second here. I will have to adjust some volume, I assume. So I apologize if you're watching this with us and you see my mouse cursor move around on the screen, but I will try and dial it in here. There we go. We got little beeps.
You don't believe in no fate. Every day digging the grave.
Ooh, it's something a little stuttery about their video here. Do you guys get a frame?
It looks all right to me.
It's okay over here.
Hello and welcome to this, the very first episode of Night City Wire.
Oh, it might just be my monitor.
Series
Okay.
with us at CD Projekt Red.
They said they might do more of these.
Cyberpunk 2077. For today's episode, we'll be starting with a brand new trailer. One of our developers will be joining us to help unpack everything you're going to see. We'll have some news, an announcement about a secret collaboration. We'll be taking a look at some braindance gameplay and welcoming back our developers just to have a chat about everything you're going to see. But there is one more thing. Media all over the world have been getting hands-on with Cyberpunk 2077, and when this episode finishes, you'll be able to go and check out exactly what they thought.
So we should become
started.
media.
It is time to take a look at our brand new trailer, and after that, our lead quest designer, Pavel Sasko,
Maybe it was just like The
will be
Witcher
joining
3
us
when they just
because
showed
I've
up at
got a
our
feeling
office
you're
one
gonna
day
have a few
unannounced with a
questions
build of
after
The Witcher
watching
3
this.
that they wanted to
So,
install on a
let's take a
debug.
look.
And we were like, what? We were out
Yeah.
at lunch when they tried to show up, and just like dude was in the office messing with our debug. And like, sorry, who are you?
The city of endless
So
opportunity.
maybe they just showed up at the office
Ready to
with a
get your
build.
cherry
And we weren't there to
pops?
get it.
Yeah, come on.
City like any other, just bigger.
Nah, mano, not just any other city. Legends are born here.
The major leagues. We're only here because Dex is pulling the strings. Doubt that puts us in the same league as them.
But we are. They just don't know it yet. But if you got the cojones and you know how to use them, you can do damn near anything.
Unless you catch a bullet.
Even then, you go out with a bang, right?
You know, you can make heaps more eddies as a motivational speaker.
Yo, Mr. V, a pleasure.
So what's the gig, Dex? You meant to come out in one piece?
Oh man, this game does look
How about we
good.
go over the plan?
Yep.
There's this prototype tech, a biochip to be precise. Jobs to grab it.
Guessing it belongs to a court.
Arasaka.
We're robbing some heavy hitters.
Thought you could blackmail me, fucker?
High risk, high reward. First rule of the afterlife.
Ka-ching, baby.
Goes without saying, we do this on the hush. Ideally, no bodies, not a one.
Sounds simple enough.
It's got like way more of a heist vibe in this trailer.
Don't you
Yeah.
worry,
Yeah.
boy. We're bulletproof. Get your ass moving now!
What the fuck just happened in there?
Can't stop digging Night City.
Fucking major leagues. Happy now, Jackie?
Yep, that's fucking high! Time to bail!
Oh my god, we're so fucked.
Yeah, real heisty
Yeah, this
kind of.
was real like this is a fun
Mr.
cyberpunk
V.
adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are you? Not this is a dystopia.
Cyberpunk, the punk job or something.
Fuck.
Oh, we already knew about Keanu.
So the trailer
just make
contains
Keanu Reeves
footage from the
swear?
game's prologue only, but there was an awful lot in it. So Pavel, why don't you try and help us unpack everything that we just saw?
Oh yeah, I mean, absolutely, I can try. So, what you have just seen is only the prologue of the game. So that awesome stuff is only happening in the first few quests. What the
It's like
trailer
your
shows you
abilities or
is
whatever,
really
and then it all
our
comes
stage,
crashing down,
the
and you're like,
Night
okay,
City.
no
You
more
know,
fun
this
heists.
Gigantic city built of 6 completely unique districts, surrounded by the 7th one that we call the Badlands. As a player, you are meeting Jackie. Jackie's your friend. Now, they together are trying to reach out for something that is very precious. They are trying to reach out for this chip of immortality, this gateway to eternal life. Jackie introduces you to fixer Dexter Deshawn. He's a very important person in a social ladder of Cyberpunk. He is able to provide the player with various jobs and contracts to be able to gather money, to be able to modify their bodies, push themselves to the limits.
Somebody's at least playing
to
with
put
an
their
Xbox
hands on
controller.
the chip. But as you can
Right,
expect,
yeah.
not everything goes as planned. And but to see it, you will have to play the game.
There are an awful lot of really cool things in this trailer, and there's a few that I would just love to talk about a little bit more for the people at home. So let's start with talking about a gang called the Mox. Now, we see a few flashes of them in this trailer. I personally think they're really cool and one of my favorites, but can you give us a little bit more information about them?
Oh yes, so the Mox is one of the gangs that player is going to interact with throughout the game. The Mox is the gang that has been formed in 2076 after death of Elizabeth Borden. She was called Lizzie. Now, she was an owner of a brothel and former sex worker, and she was protecting working guys and girls from harassment, from abuse, and the gang is really continuing her mission. And as a player, you are going to interact with that gang, meet multiple different NPCs, and craft your own
I like
relationship.
the
with
HUD
them
seems to
and
have like
understand what they are all about.
stock
So earlier
tickers
on, you
it
did
and
mention
shit
a
like
7th
that.
district, a place called the Badlands. Now, we saw a few shots of this in the trailer, but I'd love for you
They've been
to
watching
give
your
us a bit more
streams. They know that a
detail
good
about
overlay
the
has to
district
have
outside of the city walls.
Agreed.
A bunch of useless information around the
Badlands
edges.
is
Yes.
this like dead, dried out space going around the whole Night City. And as a player, you'll be able to traverse that space in your
I really
car
like
or
their
motorcycle.
glitch
This is a
edit
space
transition
that's inhabited
they
by
have,
the nomads.
and
The nomads
I
are
hope they're
living
putting it in when
different
there's not an
cabins,
edit, so you
and
never
they're
know when
traveling
exactly there is an
across that
edit.
space in convoys made
It
of
feels so
cars
jarring to
and
me every time they
motorcycles.
switch to this
And
this
as a
Badland
player,
kind of
you'll
area.
be able to
It starts to
traverse
feel like a
and
different
access
game, you know?
different types
Yeah,
of
that's
open
cool.
world content that has been prepared specifically for you to get that awesome feel of the Badlands as an area.
In the trailer, we also saw like a completely metal creature. Now, he didn't look like he was from the Maelstrom gang. This looked like something else. So please tell the people at home, who is this giant metal monster?
Okay, so that big dude, that was Adam Smasher. He has been introduced in pen and paper in Cyberpunk 2020.
It's a terrible name.
By
I guess
our,
it comes from
Mike
an old
Goldsmith.
pen and paper game. You're like,
Adam Smasher is a fully converted cyborg. He is who was always a loyalist of Arasaka. And
that's kind of what's sort of appealing about this thing to me, though, is how hard it leans into all the tropes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
I feel
it's
like
been
they're just
around
going
long enough
but
to
to find
all
out,
the
you
way
have to do
formative
it.
in some of that stuff, right?
In this
So
trailer, we do
it's-
see some flashes of a Ripper Doc called Victor Vector. I think if people have watched our previous
Now, Victor
gameplays,
Vector,
they might remember
great
him.
name.
Yeah, Victor
But I'd really
yeah.
like for you to give the people at home some more information about what
These are
Ripper
great
Docs
names!
are and how they'll be interacting with them when they play Cyberpunk.
So Reaper Dogs in our game, they are surgeons. They are like a specific type of a job in the social ladder of Cyberpunk. They are accustomed
that Frank
and
West?
specialized in replacing limbs to the metal.
replaced
ones.
limbs
They
in
can
wars, you
basically update your body, enhance your body, change you into this walking war machine. And as a player, you are going to meet different kind of Reaper
Don't
Dogs
take
in the game.
my
You
eye
have
out.
to build relationship with them. Some of them are
Need that.
like important characters for a story. Through that, you will invest eddies that you're gathering to turn your body into this tool that allows you to survive on the streets of Night City.
Pavel, thank you so much for joining us. I know you'll be back later in the episode because you're going to be helping us to analyze the Braindance gameplay. But before that, we do have
There's
some
like
news
no
to share.
third-person anything.
Earlier
this
in the
game,
year,
right?
we announced that if you pick up
Oh, well,
Cyberpunk
whatever.
2077 on
Third-
Xbox
third-person
One,
ladder climbing.
you'll be able to play it on Xbox Series X when the console launches. And just in case you missed it, it will be the same for PlayStation players as well. If you pick up Cyberpunk 2077 on PlayStation 4, you'll also be able to play it on PlayStation 5 when the console launches. And that's not all. There will be a free upgrade for Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, but we'll have more details on
Okay.
that soon.
Interesting.
Before we reveal our first look at the Braindance gameplay and welcome back our developers for a chat, there is just one more thing we want to announce. Something that we've been working on in
Playing the
secret
game
for a
another
while.
18 months.
We are very excited to announce our partnership with Studio Trigger and Netflix to bring you Cyberpunk Edgerunners, a standalone anime set in the Cyberpunk universe, which we've been working on for some time now. Edgerunners is due to launch in 2022.
Finally, some
but for
anime.
some more information, let's go to the team in Tokyo.
Okay, hey, listen, I can be down for this.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Saya Elder. I am the Japan-based producer for Cyberpunk Edgerunners. What I do basically on this project is that I am a fixer, to put it in the words of the Cyberpunk universe. We are a game company. We are a bunch of nerds, and wherever there are nerds, there's going to be anime fans. So it was always a dream for
Take
us
that back.
to make anime. When we began this project, we were certain that we didn't want to make a recreation of the game. Cyberpunk Edgerunners is a standalone story set in the same universe. The stage is still Night City, but everything else is totally new. New characters, new story. I do like
I mean,
to think
honestly,
that
I
it's
could look
going
at
to
slow
be
motion
a
shots
great
of
gateway
Japan at night
for
for
newcomers
like
to come
hours.
and
Like,
check
you want to set that up as like an
Cyberpunk
Apple
game and
TV
also the
screensaver?
Cyberpunk
I'm
genre
there
as
for
a
it.
whole. Right now we're in Nakano, which is one of the biggest anime meccas of the world. I'm going to take you to Studio Trigger right now because we have the wonderful opportunity to talk to the dream team that will be bringing you this anime.
こんにちは。トリガーの代表取締役の大塚です。
監督の今石です。
キャラクターデザインを担当する吉成です。
ゲームのサイバーパンクのファンの方、今回初めて触れる方両方に満足していただけるようにアニメを作るつもりです。よろしくお願いします。
今回はそのサイバーパンクという僕らが10代の一ファンにしか過ぎなかった頃に生まれたジャンル、そういうジャンルのものをまた
Looking to see if Studio Trigger has done anything that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with them, but people in the chat certainly are. So, I guess that's
Kill the Kill.
キャラクターデザインに吉成というトリガーの最強の布陣で、トリガー10周年にふさわしい作品にしていきたいと思います。お楽しみに。
Okay, I wanted to see some of the animation. I'm curious what the style looks like.
That's, yeah.
More like Cyberpunk 2022.
Now it is time to show you some gameplay of Braindance. This is a feature that you'll experience when you play Cyberpunk 2077. Braindance is essentially a recording of somebody else's experience. It allows you to relive their sense of sight, smell, touch, and even hearing, all thanks to a special device. After the gameplay, I will be welcoming back Pavel Sasko, and we'll also be joined by Patrick Mills, our senior quest designer and all-round lore master, who will be helping to answer your questions and give you some explanation.
Jeez, is it weird? The first thing I thought when I saw that shot was, wow, those humans are close.
2077. So,
yeah.
let's take a look.
Plan simple. Do nothing odd. Don't get creative. You go in, snatch the cash, get out. And we sell the BD to those psycho freaks from the studio.
Got it.
And remember, everything on full blast. They'll spot us extra for a wicked adrenaline high. Okay, on you go.
So it's just like going out, recording himself doing crazy shit so that other people can watch it back later.
Down, everybody, on the ground. I want to see you kissing the flooring. Money, now, or I will fucking drop you, I swear to God. Well, yeah, hey.
Kissing the flooring.
Now, before I blow your fucking head off.
Just wanted Rubik's Cube with 4 sides.
Ah!
Slow, deep breaths. Your cortisol and adrenaline spiked, but the soft activated your hormone blockers. Nothing happened. You're alive and well.
That was too much. Could feel the guy's pain, his stress, his hope. Hope wrapped up in something else.
Mm-hmm. Probably took a booster just before. You'll be fine. Got everything set up? Let's switch over to editing mode.
Man, these environments are just dense.
Yeah.
I'll sever the link to the BD Roller's sensory array. You'll be able to look around freely. Whole scene's yours.
I was about to say, like, that just sounds like they're describing cutscenes, but now they're showing you can do different stuff than
Batman vision or detective mode or whatever it was.
Well, I mean, I feel like they're gonna get to a point where they're like,
Try it.
and now you can take control and do it differently or something, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Snatch the cash, get out, and we sell the BD to those psycho freaks from the studio.
Got it.
Dream as hell,
Is this
right?
Machinima?
Well, that's not all. You can speed things up or
Yes.
rewind, whatever you like. Give it a try. Rewind, roll it back to the top.
Can I?
Now put a Spartan in there dancing.
All good, neat.
Yeah.
Now try fast forwarding a bit.
Plan simple. Do nothing odd. Don't be creative. You go in.
Sorry, what is the... Did they say what the ultimate goal of this is? Like, what you do with the final product of this?
That'll take you right
No.
back to the beginning. Try it. Now for some fun. This here's why you came in the first place. In analysis mode, you get to view and even scan details of the enviro recorded by the BD Roller.
That's a lot of good words.
Focus on the
Yep.
heat. The
BD
gun
Roller.
Gonk gets from his buddy at the beginning.
Gonk.
Now scan it.
Gonk.
Plan simple. Do nothing odd. Don't get creative. You go in, snatch the cash, get out, and we sell the BD to those psycho freaks from the studio. And remember, keep full blast. As long as I'm leaving it.
Okay, right here. Excellent. Let's move on. Now heads up. In analysis mode, you can ferret out background noise and conversations if the roller got close enough. This tech records everything, every little detail. Even
Wonder
the
how many
sights and
times you do
sounds
this.
The roller was never aware of.
Yeah.
sources
Or
of the
and also
recorded
like what
sensory
Brad was saying is like to
signals,
what
switch
end?
to the audio layer in the editor. Go ahead and try that.
Yeah, like I
Is this
just meant
a
like is
detective
the
vision, like,
yeah,
oh,
right.
we scanned the gun and now we know.
Right, like is this supposed to be some sort of investigative thing? Is it part of their quest design?
Pack of 6, case of Brosif, and a couple of zappers.
Case of Brosif.
Okay, we have a deal today on 2 flavors. Cuddy and
Down,
surf and
everybody! On the
So, any thoughts?
Unbelievable. Seriously. Like what's happening right next to me.
Yeah, it's how BD recording.
Or I guess what I meant is like, is this like some extremely elaborate take on a photo, like a photo mode or something? You know, it's like, do they intend for people to record stuff and put it on social media or something?
Oh, I have to imagine that this is something that only comes up in specific.
What I see you kissing the flooring. Money. Now.
Sometimes you can analyze extra layers in the raw, stuff the roller's cyberware picked up.
Like what?
Ev's got Kuroshi optics that grab infrared, meaning you should be able to grab heat signatures from her recording.
Huh. Hella nice.
Scanning works on peeps too. Walk up to
Didn't
the
realize
wounded
Night City
chief,
was in Northern
try
California.
Dude, I think they said that, didn't they? Like, isn't that? I assume you're joking, but I'm pretty sure they actually said that it is.
Fucking drop you, I swear to God. Well, now, fucking head off.
Yes, Night City is a city in the free state of Northern California. Well, okay.
They shot him and he never saw it coming. But you will.
Oh, here you go.
My favorite part of the game. See the blinking thing over the entrance? Surveillance cam. Must have caught our shooter. You'll see in a sec. Cam feeds to the screen behind the clerk. Roll back to where the screen's in the kid's field of vision, then scan it.
Yeah, this is starting to just seem like that Arkham City Origins thing.
His own Chumba shot him. Probably planned to all along. Must have got a nice slice of cred on the black market for a BD like this. BD freaks are ready to pay a preem for a real flatline. Anyway, if you've seen enough, you can exit.
If not, push B to do this tutorial again.
Yeah, it's impressive, right? It's too bad most of the BDs we do here are only good for flogging the log.
So Braindance is a pretty big part of the Cyberpunk universe. It's not just something used for adult films. There is an awful lot to it. And there's two sides I'd really like you guys to help me explore. First is the lore, so how this actually fits into the universe. And then there's the gameplay side, so how players will be interacting with it. So Patrick, could you tell us more about the lore of Braindance?
I would love to.
I'm kind of with you, Vinny, where I see these two guys sitting like pretty close together right now. I'm like, wait a minute.
Maybe they're composited together.
Yeah, maybe they're on
It was
different green
developed
screens
as a
at
way
different
of
locations.
recording a person's experiences and then playing them back for someone else, so that they could relive them as though it was happening to them. It was originally used for things like therapy and prisoner rehabilitation, but by 2077, it's become this global media industry, including things like movies,
Maybe one of them is
mass,
like 9
mass
feet
entertainment,
tall, and they're
things
just
like
like
that,
they're sitting
video games, some interactive
far
things,
apart
and
that
of course,
way.
adult fare as well. Now, in our game, we deal a lot with black brain dances, or XBDs as we call them, and there are different types of those, but the one that you saw in the trailer just there was a flatliner. Now that's where the person recording it actually dies during the recording. And it's popular with sort of an illicit kind of a thrill, but a mercenary can also use them for various things, and you'll see that in the game, of course.
And from the gameplay perspective, we have been working a lot throughout last years trying to figure out the best way how to use the braindance in the game as a mechanics. So what we have settled on is this braindance editor mode.
How about that?
As a player, you will be able to run the braindance in the editor mode and see different clues that have been registered on the peripheral of given actor. Now, as a player, you can slide on the timeline of the recording back and forth, trying to uncover different clues. And that clues are actually telling a story in the game. So as a player, you will run different investigations that will lead you to different mysteries, and you will uncover them actually using that braindance as a mechanics in the game.
So, as Pavel was saying, we use Braindance as a storytelling tool. It's not a collectible. It's not something where you're going to go in and you're going to play it and you're going to be like, I've seen this before. What we use Braindance for is to give you a keyhole into the life of the residents of Night City. And we can explore things like childhood trauma, religion, various philosophical ideas in a way that you might not otherwise experience in a story about a mercenary on the tough streets.
So we've tried to talk about some of the aspects that we think the community will find really exciting, but you know, while you're both here, I'd love to know, what is it about Cyberpunk that you guys are really excited for? Patrick, why don't you start?
So one of the things that
Finishing
I'm
it
most
and going
excited
home
about in
and
this
laying
game
down.
is the characters and the way they interact with the world. We've got this really interesting world that stretches all the way back to the Cyberpunk 2020 source material and all of these events and all of those things, but those don't mean anything unless they connect with characters. And so when we come up with a character, we start with their function. What is this person? What do they do in the story? But we don't stop there. We go back and we figure out what was their childhood like? What was their upbringing like? What kind of obstacles did they face in this harsh reality, and did they overcome them? And how did they overcome them, or did they not overcome them, and why? And you can see all of those things in their environment, in their dialogues, in sort of how they operate in the world. And we come up with that for all of our characters. Now you look at someone like Victor Vector, and you're gonna see stories about his past in his environment and in his dialogue. You know, we come up with that stuff even if we don't use it in the game, because it helps inform us as to who these characters are.
And for me, I would not be myself if I would not say that I'm the most excited about our quests. Like with our Witcher 3 team, with Patrick and like everybody that has stayed with us since the Witcher 3 time, we really have grown so much. We have learned so much, and we have used all that experience to put them into the quests that we have made. And you will not find really a filler in this game. Like everything has a meaning. Like we put so much effort into making sure that everything is rewarding, is interesting, is talking about characters, as Patrick said, is talking about worlds, is talking about emotions, like touching the player in a really, like a real way. And I just can't wait to find out what you think.
Pavel, I know you mentioned story and quests and writing quests, and when I was last in the studio, I had a look and I saw a notebook on your desk, and I would love for you to show everybody this notebook.
Okay. Oh, yeah,
I now suddenly have it in my hand.
This
Oh,
is,
this?
my notebook. It says Salsa Quest Designer. The reason is because I dance salsa, and I'm a quest designer, so you know. So I started this notebook actually when we were really starting Cyberpunk. At
Your
the
writing's
very
too
beginning,
small.
I wrote like a first note, and it says pretty much something along the lines of that we were starting with a prototype. And then, you know, I kept on basically noting things that we've been working on.
Now let's
for,
take
like,
a shot of
next
your
years.
apartment. So I wrote on all the
remember
walls.
when our concept
yeah.
artist actually approached me, and they said that they want to take a look on my notebook. I was like, what for actually? And they took some pictures, and they told me, yeah, well, you know, because we are looking for a reference material for notes of a psychopathic killer. Yeah, well, you may find
Nailed it.
maybe some of my notes.
The guy like the tab next to him just kind of looking at the camera
Pavel
like,
and Patrick, thank you so much for joining me. I'm pretty lucky because I have read some of the stories that you and the team have written for Braindance, and I'm pretty excited for people to discover them. But before we do finish today's episode, there is just one more thing we'd like to talk about. Earlier in this episode, I mentioned that media have been getting hands-on with the opening of Cyberpunk 2077, and they should be posting their impressions right about now. And if you missed anything from today's episode, don't worry, we'll be uploading everything to our channels very soon. And finally, on behalf of everybody at CD Projekt Red, we just want to say thank you so much for joining us for this, the very first episode of Night City Wire. But don't worry, we'll be back with episode 2 in just a few weeks. So, we shall see you soon.
all right. All right, I'm going to switch back to us here. I assume that's going to be the end. I'll wait and see if there's any stinger. Keanu comes out of the rubble.
Turn it off before the ads start.
Episode of
Yeah.
Night City Wire.
Yep.
But don't worry, we'll be
Okay. Well, I guess the Braindance stuff was the big new thing. And sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm still excited for that game.
Totally. I think it looked really good. I think that the Braindance stuff, like, I think the way they talk about it in terms of like, oh, you can, like, if that's something that's going to flesh out lore and for people who want to dig deep into that stuff, then I think that's fine. But you know,
So-
like we've talked multiple times over the years about Arkham Origins and their kind of jog shuttle, like detective mode. Like, their take on the detective mode stuff is like rebuilding that stuff as being a neat idea that is very quickly overbearing and repetitive and all that sort of stuff. And watching that, I was like, oh no, that's totally what.
Yeah, I didn't get the best sense of how prominent that is in the game. How often they drop it. Like, is that just something they use for some storytelling and side quests, or is that like a major thing you're doing all the time? I don't know.
Yeah.
The part where I guess these are going to be episodic. There'll be more of these leading up to the launch in November. Seems pretty tied into other media plans apparently for rolling this stuff out. So yeah, I don't know if we're going to cover these on the episodic timeline. But this was, I guess, maybe knowing that these are episodic and showing that makes a little more sense to me. If this were a standalone thing, that would, like, would they go into like dialogue options next time, or whatever the weapons or how the cars drive. So yeah, still excited for it. I guess the confirming for PS5 and Xbox and whatever that upgrade path is. She didn't say. Yeah. She said there would be one. She didn't say.
Sony hasn't come out and like formalized their policy for the PS5, but the word going around is that it's going to be up to developers to do what they want. So
yeah.
Seems like that's what they're doing here.
So it sounds like they'll do that, and I think they had more or less confirmed that ahead of time. But
I don't know. There's at least she said there's something like a pat or some kind of extra download, right, on the PS5 and Xbox Series X. On
it's basically like if you when they release, it sounds like when they release the PS5 version of the game, if you own it on PS4,
right,
it will upgrade
switch
to
over
that version of the game. Yeah, I think a lot of that looked really awesome. I think the world and just some of the little bits and pieces of just like quest markers and design and stuff you can kind of infer from that, and potential upgrade paths around modifying your body and stuff. Like, I think there's potential for like a really incredible game there. I think them focusing on this brain dance stuff though has me a little shook, honestly. Like,
really?
I saw that and was just like I said, like that Batman stuff, a little bit of that went a very long way.
Yeah.
And for them to be like, this is this awesome new thing, like looking at that, I'm like, oh no, man.
Maybe some of that will be optional. Maybe that'll be like, hey,
that's the way they talked about, like, oh, it'll dig into the religion, it'll dig into this. Like, okay, maybe that makes it kind of lore stuff, but like when I play games like that, I tend to want to dig into as much of that lore as possible. But
I guess this maybe it felt a little lopsided to focus so much on that when I think this is only the second time the public has seen the game being played, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like they put out that first demo, which was very long, but since then I think this is only the second look at like actual gameplay. So maybe it was a little weird to focus on that so much here.
Also curious to see what the media has in terms of are they giving impressions of full game? Did they have like retail release? Is it?
I think they implied that they were playing around a 4-hour chunk of the prologue. Kind of.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Early part of the game is what they.
Okay. I mean, in a non-COVID world, there would probably have been some kind of preview event, right? And you play 4 hours, and that maybe that's the analog for this of that. We'll see.
I watching that really made me wonder how much like branching there is in the story or variability. Like the thing that chat reminded me of is that as much as they focused on Jackie as the companion dude, right?
Yeah.
As much as they've continue to focus on him in a lot of this footage, like they have straight up shown him dying in footage before.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's like, is that locked into the story or is that just something that can happen? Like our major characters, like potentially disposable, but they might still be around later in the game. You know what I mean?
I bet because they talk about this as being all of that footage as being from the prologue. So I suspect that like you get to the end of the prologue and all this heist storyline, and by the time you are done with that part, there is no Jackie, right? Like the way this reads to me is you show up and you're like ready to go do all this stuff, and then everything turns bad, and then you are suddenly like, I'm this cast out, like I must build back up to get revenge, whatever whatever the real plot of the thing is.
Okay, sure.
And I bet that no matter what happens, Jackie doesn't make it out of that, right? Like that seems like that's
okay. Yeah, I would.
Hey, our heist went wrong. We stole from the wrong person. Everyone got fucking wasted except you, and now figure it out. Like,
yeah, I would believe this. It's more like he is just enough of an early game character that they're comfortable showing him getting bumped off.
Yeah,
not holding that back for the game.
Right. You gotta raise your intimacy level. And then you'll make it through.
Right.
So November. Yeah, I don't know.
It's like as late as it could go, right?
So
like
excited.
That last release week before Thanksgiving.
Well, I guess curious to see then some of the other stuff with the right in the window of the next gen stuff. How quickly after that is the whatever comes for the next gen stuff, like whether it's updates or a full release for it. At that point, I think I'm probably going to go on PC and get it. I don't know. It seems like a thing. Feels like a PC game. It feels like I want to have a keyboard in front of me for some reason. Like I don't know how much typing there will be, but I always appreciate when a game that has terminals lets you type on a keyboard to put stuff in. So hopefully, even entering pin numbers. I don't know why that always feels cool in some way. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really have that much more to say about it other than my curiosity and interest remains. I'm pretty excited to get hands on with it at some point. Seems dense. There's a density to it that I like.
I think the environments look really great. Yeah, like that's and you hope that there's like enough to do in there to to reward you exploring those dense environments, right? You look around and be like, oh, there's actually like a bunch of cool shit to find and read and all this other stuff. Like the universe has a lot of lore attached to it already, and like it seems like they're known for really going hard on that stuff in the Witcher games as well. So, like hopefully there's a lot to see on that front. And the gameplay stuff, the action shooting stuff seemed like it looked okay. I don't know, didn't stand out as like amazing, but you look at it and go like, that seems like totally serviceable, fine shooting action in an RPG. So
it looks fine, although I also think back to when The Witcher 3 came out and like playing that game was not my favorite part of that game. That was also a situation where, for me at least, it was fine, but not amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
I
like
get
The Witcher.
Yeah. So I hope the shooting stuff is good here.
Yeah. We'll see. And the driving and the hacking and the memory, I hope the problem with some of these games, my problem with Deus Ex, eventually was the min-maxing of different choice styles of or a lot, usually missing, this is probably my fault, a lot of times missing the other option until you're in the room and then see all of the vents and all of the other the computers
like,
around you.
Or just that feeling of like every single quest has exactly 3 ways to solve it.
Okay, there's the sneaking path. Okay, there's the hacking terminal. Okay, here's where I shoot the guy.
Right. Yeah. So hopefully it feels a little bit more intertwined and realistic or organic in that way, where you're not just like some of the stuff with Fallout 2 of just like, well, I didn't put points into lockpicking, so I'm always going to be out of this lockpick the door kind of thing.
That feeling of just like, oh, I really want to see what's behind that door, but I didn't spec in that direction, and now I feel like I'm missing something.
I don't know how long you guys want to go. Is it worth switching over? Jeff Keighley's streaming gameplay of this right now.
I can definitely switch over and take a look. Let me.
I don't know if you want to try to pull that up. I can send you the link real fast.
Yeah, I can try that if you want to. That might be.
Just want to see a little bit more of it.
Is it on Twitch?
It's on YouTube. I just sent you the link.
I do not have a thing that reads the things you sent me open on this computer.
Oh, sorry.
I'm also like, where am I? Wait, what?
Yeah. Let me see. Sorry. Talk amongst yourselves.
He's streaming it on the Game Awards YouTube channel. That's the easiest way to get to that.
Thank you. Hands-on impressions.
That's why I picked. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can switch over to this.
That's the one.
I'm switching over. Here we go. Switching now.
Choice directly affects the beginning of the prologue, but it also has implications as you play through the game. So as I was playing through, there were certain dialogue choies that would pop up, and they would say, "Hey, this is the core."
So this is live. This is him playing live, or is he talking over recorded gameplay?
I imagine.
So that's something that
I don't know
play
actually.
Through, you'll find that everyone.
I would assume it's pre-recorded.
Has a different experience with the game. Which is
it sounds like the way people played this was.
Again, this is stuff that I didn't get to play because I was
some kind of cloud-based.
They didn't talk about Stadia. Didn't they have some kind of?
The logos was at the end of their.
Was it okay?
This is again a mission
still coming to Stadia, but
the scale of the world really blew me away. The level of detail.
There's your third person, Brad. Or there's your not first person, at least.
Sure. Yeah, for drive, I was thinking more like character-based third person stuff, just because like there's all these augments you're going to be getting, and I think they've said wardrobe is kind of a thing. You know, it's like
well, it seems like there
customization
are workable mirrors.
Look at.
That's true. Sequel or they're kind
Right.
of like,
Yeah. I think that this like Mad Maxy looking stuff, this like drive around the open world.
Slightly different.
I think that's cool because I think that's like a that kind of wasteland outside the never-ending city or seemingly never-ending city is always like kind of a cool like we got to go hide and then we got to go back into the city and really mess stuff up.
So fresh.
Kind of like Max Headroom, like blank red style, like we're just out here in the wastes sort of thing.
Or like the last GTA where you had the outside.
Sure, yeah.
Go on your
slightly less cyberpunk, but
slightly, just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
It's a neat contrast with the city, which is almost entirely artificial. You know, it's like other than these weeds, they have like basically eradicated the natural world.
Right.
With the
Getting
city,
out
but
into that area outside the city, and then it's just like here's a bunch of people with like really fucked up augments. Right.
Everything here feels so well designed.
That guy's just on fire.
Now this is some kind of combat. So again, this is not a sequence that I played, but let me talk a bit about what the combat feels like, because this is a first-person game.
I'll put the him up a little bit, but we should probably let people tune into this on their own if they want.
Yeah, sure. If you want to, sure. Yeah, if you want to see, go watch this stuff.
Yeah. I'm gonna change back to us, and we'll take it out of here, and you can go continue watching. And Jeff, do this on the game. This is the Game Awards channel on YouTube.
Yes.
Kind of reminded me. I don't know if you guys remember this game.
Let me take the volume down. Here we go. All right. Thanks everybody for joining us. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Brad.
Yeah.
A look at Cyberpunk. I would suspect we probably won't cover these in the episodic fashion that they're going forward, but frankly I don't know the schedule that they're going to move forward on these with either.
Yeah, they said a few weeks, but yeah, it's
okay.
If they're gonna piece this stuff out a bunch, then yeah, I think initially this seemed like it was going to be like here's our big reveal thing or our big thing, but this seemed like a real feature breakdown type of deal.
Yeah, it was kind of like that first Xbox stream a few weeks ago of like people have a lot of expectations around it, but they view it as just the first of many. So maybe they don't bring as much as people expected. But
we'll have some more Naughty 3 coverage. Microsoft still in July. Jeez, the time is gone. So
it is almost July.
Yeah,
that's like, hey, we are less than a week away from the release of Trackmania on July 1st.
So Microsoft in July, then Ubisoft I think later or around that time, and then Gamescom after that. So if this industry survives, we'll probably have more of that to talk about. But thank you again, Jeff. Thank you, Brad. I'm going to take it down.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
For hanging out.
Yeah. And we'll be back. I'll say soon. Who knows? But we'll be back.
I mean, well, you'll be back. I mean, the Beastcast's gonna start in like an hour, right?
Yeah,
if you're watching right now, I'll be back real soon. But
real soon, and then tomorrow, hopefully some Minecraft on a fun new Nether. Maybe I don't know. Who knows?
Ooh. I'm afraid to delete the Nether.
Delete the Nether. Just do it.
I'm going to, but it's terrifying.
All right.
Do it.
All right. We'll see you folks. Thanks for watching. Bye.